Are you a data geek? If so, I hope you're really going to enjoy this talk. And if not, don't despair, because it's partially about data, but it's also the story of collaboration for common good that's kind of inspiring. So hopefully there's something for everyone. But first, let's look at the data part. The Minnesota All-Payer Claims Database. As its name suggests, it's Minnesota claims by all payers. That's employers and governments and individuals. And it is massive. 1.1 billion claims and 4.3 million covered individuals. But let's look behind the curtain. It gets its data from insurance companies. Under a 2008 state law, they need to provide it. But while policymakers truly know the power of the database, most employers didn't even realize it existed, even though it includes their data. This is all relevant because in 2016, the US Supreme Court ruled that self-insured employers don't have to provide their data. And there's a lot of reasons why they might not want to. Data privacy is a big one. Certainly they have other priorities, but call it innovative or call it obvious, the Minnesota Department of Health decided to collaborate with these employers, understand their top concerns, where they get their data today, and how they use it. So, enter the action group. We are a coalition of public and private purchasers that write the checks for healthcare. We are all about innovation, collaboration, and engagement. So when the opportunity came along to partner with MDH, we were all over it. We became the bridge between MDH and employers. And this is who was involved. It was MDH, a consultant for subject matter expertise, as well as facilitation, the action group, and large employers, small employers, diverse industries, all sizes, and many perspectives. And this is how they work together. We had a process, key informant interviews up front, then a working group that facilitated conversations and problem solving and understanding. And when we thought we got to the answer, we brought in focus groups to test and see if it made sense. Here's what we came up with. A series of reports that use healthcare data about cost and utilization in our state and portray it in a way that's compelling and relevant to employers. If you want to know about the reports, I'll tell you about them later. But right now, I want to jump to 4 key lessons that we learned. 1, don't make assumptions. 2, transparency and timeliness are essential. 3, action is imperative. And 4, there's more work to be done. So let's unpack those. Lesson number 1, don't make assumptions. Going in, MDH thought, of course everyone knows about this database and how wonderful it is and the cool analysis we've done. Not true. And employers thought, there's no way I'd ever want to contribute my data to a database by the government. Also, not true. What we needed to do was set aside those assumptions, listen, problem solve, look for common ground and shared value, and then when we thought we had the answer, test it, refine it even further. It's not rocket science, this is common sense. Okay, lesson number 2. Transparency and timeliness are essential. You know, when you walk into your local Target, you know what you're buying and you know what you're paying right away. Consumers expect that, but that's not the case in healthcare, right? They might not know what they bought or what they paid until after the fact. That's crazy. It's like driving with a paper bag over your head. You can't do it. You need good data to make good decisions, and employers want data about who charges what and how cost value vary, and it needs to be timely. Lesson number 3, action is imperative. You know, employers write the checks for healthcare, and the Institute of Medicine says 30% of healthcare is wasted. So a database that includes all of the information and can produce reports that tell them what's high value is important. But to make it actionable, we heard clearly, keep it simple. So what we created was a series of high-level executive format reports that were accompanied with a guide that told people the purpose, the use, and the value of those reports. So lesson number 4, there is more work to be done. If you're a policymaker, please listen up. The employers thought it was crazy that there's these things called guardrails that limit how this powerful and impressive database can be used. So it says certain analyses can be done, and it also protects the identity of everyone in the database. The personal identity is certainly important to protect, but we want to know who are the providers, the health plans, what are they charging, and how do those costs vary? We'd like the guardrails removed so that we can be better purchasers. To recap, don't make assumptions. Transparency and timeliness are essential. Action is imperative, and there is more work to be done. This is a phenomenal database that holds answers about how healthcare is delivered today and how it can be better for the future. And we all have a role to play in that. So whether you're a data geek, a policy wonk, an employer, or an individual citizen, we all can make a difference. Together, we can accomplish more than any of us can alone, and together we can make healthcare better.